G'day friends, how you going? I'm here with Simone Hayes. Hi Simone.
Hi, how are you?
How you going?
Good.
Really another exciting, feel like one of the two Ronnies sitting on the couch. We just thought we'd have a normal chat about the business. So how long have you been in the business for, Simone?
I enrolled just over 12 months ago.
Okay.
The opportunity, came up and I jumped on board.
So can I ask who your sponsor is?
Yes, Steve Baker, the one and only.
The Baker boy.
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how did he contact you?
Well, it's a bit of a funny story actually. So before Jeunesse, I was involved in a direct sales company. And I'd actually sold a few of the machines that I had been selling to a few of the St Kilda players' wives.
Okay.
So Steve actually called me while I was at the airport, waiting to board a plane to South Africa.
Wow.
So that was an incentive trip that I'd won with my previous company.
Awesome.
And my husband was with me as well. And Steve presented it, sent me a link. I watched the link. I said to my husband, "What do you think?" And his response was, "Well, I never thought you'd sell a machine that I was selling, and here we are going on an all expenses paid trip to South Africa, so why not?"
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long was the trip for?
We were away for 10 days.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Sun City, South Africa. It was fantastic.
All right. So here's a real nugget here. So what you joined another business.
Mm-hmm.
Why were you successful in that?
In my previous business, it was my first time ever in the direct sales industry at all. Basically, the company was Thermomix, and I had gone along to a demonstration, and all my girlfriends were purchasing their Thermomix, and I couldn't afford one. And so I decided to become a consultant to be able to earn my machine. Signed up, did my training, was told, that I had to sell 6 machines to be able to earn my machine. I ended up selling 15 in my 60 days, and from there decided to make it my job, which I did for 3 years, and I loved it. I was top seller in Victoria and also top 10 in Australia.
Wow.
But after 3 years, being that it was direct sales and commission based, I had to basically begin every single month at zero.
Yeah.
And go out practically every night and every weekend and do demonstrations to be able to earn the income that once I had sold a few machines, that earn the income that I wanted to keep doing in the future. So
Wow. And that's one of the beauties of our business, isn't it? That you don't have to start at zero.
well, I had never heard of residual income before, and so when I watched the pay plan video that Steve had sent me, and I was like just blown away, and I was
Did you say it was too good to be true?
You know what, I never even questioned that.
Because we get that a lot, it's too good to be true.
I never actually even questioned that. I was just like, I can't believe there is another way, and I've never heard of it before.
I know.
Yeah. So after 3 years, and I was really burnt out, and I was ready to make a change, it basically came along at the right time, and haven't looked back.
Nice. So Simone's a Sapphire in the business, which is an awesome achievement, because basically 90% of the work is building getting a team started. So how did you start? What did you do?
Basically, I did start out on Facebook and letting everybody know, my customer base and also all my friends and family, that I was actually walking away from Thermomix to basically take up this business. So I was initially approached with a few people that, my first enrollee, Lynn, we went to primary school together, and we hadn't spoken in 25, 30 years, but we had been friends on Facebook. Yep. She knew how successful I had been with Thermomix, and so when I made the announcement that I was leaving Thermomix to come across to Jeunesse, she approached me and said, "I'd like to look at what you're doing, because if you're prepared to leave a successful business, then I'm prepared to have a look at it." Mm-hmm. And that just flowed on from there as well. So just talking to friends and family, and then people came up and approached me, and then I approached people. And
can I sort of give you a little compliment here?
Okay.
One thing I've noticed is that you are really good at Facebook.
Okay.
You always comment on
Well,
posts
that
and
might, a few people might disagree with you, Mr. Baker, but anyway, that's okay.
No, awesome. So what's your goal at the moment? What's the next step for you?
I'm absolutely striving for the next level in the business with this Jeunesse Sapphire Elite.
Yeah.
Not just because of the fantastic incentive that we have at the moment. I'd love an extra $9,000 US, so I'm definitely going to, work very hard to be able to achieve that.
Yep.
And I am goal driven like that. So with my previous business, I would set the goals and I would always reach them. So I'm definitely looking at that. But I'm going diamond.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Yeah.
And what's the reward at diamond?
Diamond, and it's not just financial reward because obviously that's going to be fantastic and awesome, but I'm looking for the freedom to be able to make a choice and any choice that I make. So, choices.
Okay. So I'll try and cover a bit of the who, what, when, why, how, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just sort of go back for a little bit. The mindset to actually have a go in business, what would you recommend? Say you're just starting and you're just starting Jeunesse. What sort of mindset do you think they should have?
Clear your mind of everything that you have learnt previous. I think that's the most important thing. I've actually been on quite a bit of a roller coaster and where my mindset has changed through different, things that have happened or whatnot. But it's really about clearing your mind and listening to the leaders of the business and taking what they have to say on board, because it is true what they say that, success leaves clues.
Yep.
Yeah, so really listen to the people that are having success in the business. I think it's important to still bring along your own personality and your own flair and your own skills, but basically, stick to the program because it's there for a reason, because it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got little Tommy here, your son behind the camera, giving us the
Yes,
gauge
he's
of the
being
time.
the producer and the director.
He's been a champ. So obviously your kids are watching you in this process.
Yeah.
Tell us about
that. They're good kids, and I think it's important for me especially to show them what can be achieved.
Yeah.
And it hasn't always been the case. Like I've always worked hard. I remember having my first job as a 10-year-old delivering, the Dandenong Journal actually. And my parents were always worked, and we've always worked, and my husband and I have had our own business, traditional business, and we still do. I'm showing my kids, and I've got teenage daughters in particular, that what women can achieve in this industry. And actually my daughter tonight, my 16-year-old, basically said, "Mum, how can I get started in this business?" And I said, "Why do you want to get involved?" She goes, "Because I want money." So it's not all about the money, but it's about positive attitude and stepping outside your comfort zone and just doing the best that you can.
So I've watched you really take a few changes in the last couple of months that
Yes.
sort of really, so what happened? Something made you decide to really go. What was it?
I had taken actually a few months off, so I had let a few things get in the way. And so basically from about Christmas time to early February, I had really just stepped back and was just concentrating on, my other job that I do and getting the kids off to school and things like that. Then I got the email to say that I had qualified for our Noosa retreat.
Oh, well, yeah.
And up until that stage, even though I knew I had qualified last year, I hadn't actually even thought about it. And then when I received the email, I was like, I'm going to go to this because I actually earned this. And so I want to I want to be able to go. And so, I booked in for the Noosa trip and confirmed my attendance. And then that has really just changed my whole outlook and my whole focus, that Noosa trip.
No, I think the kids are laughing a bit. That's all right.
They're a bit delirious. Too many lollies, maybe.
Now tell me, what's your favourite product?
My favourite product. I actually love the luminescence range.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we're all very excited at the moment about instantly ageless and all of that But I really love the luminescence range because I think it just helps the ordinary person, you know, look good.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
works really good. So let's just say you're just starting the business. What would you recommend for someone brand new that's just looking? Maybe they're looking at this for the first time.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
Somebody that's
Just started.
Yeah, and we actually had a couple of new people signed up today, so all the way from the USA, which is exciting.
Very good.
And basically what I said to him was, we need to write down your goals. And we talked about, you know, if you don't write down your goals, then they're just a dream.
Yep.
So we need to write down the goals and to focus on those. And also, it's great to have big goals, but it's also important to have the little goals as well. Yeah.
That's key. I really love that.
Yeah, because it's important to be able to receive recognition along the way, because sometimes it's little steps. And in fact, I actually sent a message the other day to my team basically saying how proud I am. It basically said, we still have a long way to go, but we're here doing it. We're doing something, and that's the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that'll do for our first little one. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Tommy, for doing that. Thanks, girls. Hopefully, we'll give you another snapshot next week. So cheers. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.